Don't think I haven't thought about it. I have thought about it, but the answer is no. I will not make different wraps, different colors of this 853. I'm not going to do it. I put my foot down, going down. My foot's going down, March. Mostly because I just don't want to. The 853 was the coveted set of my youth when I got the comic book. We were going camping in the summer of, I want to say 1976, but I don't think it was that. I think that was already released 1977. I got the 854 for Christmas in 1977, but I think it was the summer of 1977 when it was on the back of, I don't know, the Casper the Friendly Ghost or whatever I was reading at the time. Mom would always buy us kids a few comic books to read on the way up to Tobermory or Peterborough or Parry Sound, wherever we happened to be going. We would have some comic books that Mom had purchased, and then we would finish them and swap them and whatever else, Brian, Terry, and me. But I remember on the back of one or two of them was the latest Lego endeavor at the time in 1977. Now, they didn't call them Technic in 1977. They called them Expert Builders, whatever, Technic sets. And it was a full back page of the comic book, and it had this car on some sort of wooden desk or whatever. I remember it looking sort of vivid in my head of the kid building it. And it had around the edges the bulldozer and the helicopter and the 854. I don't think it had the 856 or 7, the motorcycle with the sidecar. But anyway, I said, ooh, that's something I want. This guy. Now, that said, it was $53. Now, $53 is an afternoon of cutting grass these days. But back in the day, $50 was a substantial amount of money to buy anything. 1977. I don't know what the 854 went for in 1977, but it was significantly cheaper than $53. And that's what I got for Christmas. And I did not get one of these until well into my adulthood. And I probably had one far before I actually built it, because again, all the used lots I would acquire. I'm sure I got the parts for it. I just never got around to thinking about building it. Until I don't think I built my first one until, 15, 20 years ago. It was before Sandy, so it was like at least 20 years ago, but it wasn't in my youth at all. It was when we were doing Lego shows. So anyway, I had posted somewheres. I'm getting tired. I had posted somewheres that the 853 had a transmission such as it is, considering it was their first kick at the can. I ain't gonna complain. I ain't going to complain about the transmission in this car. It is a high-low gear. And somebody called me on it. They said, it's not a high-low gear. It's a forward and reverse gear. And again, I get why you will say that, because when it goes from, it's just this little slidey thing here. Let me lift it up for you. This little gear thing goes back and forth. It goes between two gears. So it's 2-speed. That when you put it into one side, the pistons rotate one way, and you put it in the other gear and it rotates the opposite way. So therefore it is forward and reverse. The issue is, this is the actual gear train, and I'm going to take this off and take it apart to show you the gear train itself. And this is why I say it's more appropriate to call it a high-low gear than it is for you to call it a forward and reverse gear, even though technically it does differentiate between forward and reverse. So again, I will say, Mr. Spock said having is not so wonderful as actually wanting, no matter how illogical that might sound. I'm going to say this. This vehicle is coveted for a reason. I'm going to put this talk about the transmission on hold for a second. I get it, because I mean, I got the box right there too. I get it. I honestly get it that this is a coveted set, because most of the people who want the set are my age. We all saw it when we were 10 and we wanted it. Um, it is, and this is why I'm going off on this tangent. It's taking me a while to gather my thoughts about it, because I do love this set. I do love it. Out of the 3-digit Technic sets or expert builder sets, the bulldozer, the helicopter, the forklift, this guy and that guy, and what else was there? I built them all. I can't remember. There's like 6 or 7 of them. This is the big one. This is the biggest one. The helicopter is really cool from the various mechanisms to make the rotors tilt. I thought that was very well done. The forklift should not have been even remotely listed as a Technic builder, expert builder set. It's basically 98% basic brick in it, and the steering mechanism kind of cool, but the go-kart did it better. but anyway, I'm gonna do this as a contrast comparison as to what I'm trying to say here, and I'm not conveying it clearly. Is I love this set, but it didn't have that je ne sais quoi of this is so awesome, because I have this one, the 853. I have the here's it down here, the third one built anyway. This guy that's just kind of getting all dusty in the bottom floor here. I got the one between the two, the black one that has a front suspension but no rear suspension, or the rear, no rear suspension, no front suspension. This one has all 4-wheel suspension. And then the black one, the 8880, I did buy that one off the store shelf. Actually, I bought all of them off the store shelf except for this guy. And then I have the 8448, which is where I stopped. I didn't continue to buy big Technic sets after that, because it was really, really too pricey, and I had no room for them, and I wasn't that interested. But I have all the what we call supercars from this one to the 8448, and they're all lovely, and they all have their charm. The 8880 is the other coveted one. I liked it because it's 100% brick built and it looks really, really cool. But I think the 8448 is my personal favorite. But so anyway, so my point of my rambling point is, this is a good set. It's a coveted set because 1977, the first one out there, biggest one, blah blah. The transmission has its issues, which we'll get into in a sec. For me, and this is where I'm coming from, and I love Technic. That goes without saying, because I got the 854 before I got Space, because of course 854 came out before Space. The comparison to the Galaxy Explorer that came out 2 years later after this, and how coveted that set is. The Galaxy Explorer, forget the Steve Witt lambasting the classic Space line. Whatever, Steve. Forget how, like, it was 20 years before Star Wars came out, so give it a break. It was the first kick at the can. The Galaxy Explorer is perfection in the sense of the classic set that's coveted by a whole bunch of people. It's absolute perfection, because when you build it today, it's still awesome. It is an awesome set. It's square and it's bulky, and it doesn't have all the fancy parts that you get these days, and it doesn't have like the Millennium Falcon 5,000 million parts. But the Galaxy Explorer still looks really cool, and it's a fun build to build. This thing looks moderately cool, and it's a mostly okay fun build. So this as a coveted set versus the Galaxy Explorer as a coveted set, the Galaxy Explorer is going to win any day of the week. Now, the Galaxy Explorer versus the Black Sea Barracuda, that's going to be personal preference, because there are technical problems with this. And it's an okay build, and it's an okay set, and it's a little bit coveted. The Galaxy Explorer is a fantastic build. It's a fantastic look. The Black Sea Barracuda is just the chef's kiss of wonderful looking sets from back in the day. But again, that was even after that. So as they progressed, the sets got better. So when I say that this was a coveted set, It's not in the same area as a Galaxy Explorer as a coveted set, but it's still a coveted set. Nevertheless, it's still a cool set. And it is, and I'm glad I have it, and I'm glad I have 3 copies of it. Actually, no, I don't have 3 copies anymore. I sold one. I forgot about that. Let's just. Ooh. I got so much mess here. It's a heavy box. Let me just drop everything. Smash, crash, bash. This is after I clean up the room. So let me just clean that up because the pictures. And this thing is busted. Feel good. Okay. So the box is awesome. And yes, I have a whole one in here. Anyway, so I meant to start the video talking about the transmission. So it has 2 speeds, and yes, it is forward and reverse too. But it goes from, so this is the, but it's kind of hard to find neutral here. So this is, the middle is neutral. When it's down here, oh, so let's go this one first. You can see, I'm gonna keep on just turning this in one direction. And you can see that these gears are going the exact opposite direction of my hand. My hand is going, I'm looking at it this way, my hand is going clockwise, and the gears are going counterclockwise. That's how I'm looking at it. You can see it goes, this is the drive, well, it's called the drive. It goes from an 8-tooth to an 8-tooth here, and from this 8-tooth to this 8-tooth here, which is what's connected to this guy. So you can see that that's what it is. Now if you move it down to the second one, I'm going to go in the same direction. And now my finger, my drive is spinning in exactly the same direction as these gears, because now it goes from this 8-tooth to this 8-tooth, which goes to this 24-tooth, which then goes back to the 8-tooth, which then you're just tripling for every rotation here. There's 3 rotations up here. So it's 3 times faster, 300% faster. And so you can see, let's go back up here, and you can see it's going slower, 1-to-1 basically. Down here it's 1-to-3. So when I say at the speed differential, because when you're looking at the top, now watch the top, here's the top, and that's what you see. You don't see the gears. You do not see the gears in this car spinning when you're driving it around the room. You see the gears go up and down. Now you do see the stuff in the front, but who pays attention to that? So here's 3 times, then you go over here, and then it's just like that, right? So it's a difference of speed, of RPM. It's not a difference of, it's not a statistical difference or a warranted to get into discussion and say one's forward, one's reverse. No, it's irrelevant, forward and reverse in this vehicle, because here's the other point of this vehicle. When you put the engine in here, and let's see if I can put it back in there quickly, nicely, whatever, and lock it all down. When you're pushing the vehicle, as we can take this off so I can push the vehicle. See, you see the pistons going up and down. You don't see the gears. How do you know it's going forward or backwards? How do you know? How do you know? Because you're pushing it. There's no engine. The engine's not pushing the wheels. The wheels are pushing the engine. So it doesn't matter if it's going forward or backwards. But see this? You see this? It's nice and calm. And then this is the fun part, because sometimes it doesn't work. Look how fast it's going up and down now. 3 times faster at this speed. Now, again, the pedantics are going to say, well, but it's speed and direction. Yeah, but the direction's irrelevant, because when you're just moving it back and forth, it doesn't matter if it's going back, like forward or reverse. No, this isn't an RC car. You're pushing it forward and backwards. I don't know why I get like hung up on this when he posted that, the person posted that is a forward and reverse gear. No, it's not. I mean, technically, you're 100% correct. It is forward and reverse. But usually, when people say forward and reverse, it's the same speed forward as the same speed reverse. This is not even close to that. And one goes forward and one goes reverse. This, you're just pushing it back and forth like this, and you're changing it back and forth, so it doesn't matter if it's going forward or reverse. No, because it doesn't matter. And this is the problem with these 3 times faster too, by the way, because it just, it was such a great sound when I was a kid. It's like this one. See, like, whee. This is a direct drive. See a little piston going up and down. As a 10-year-old, this was like the best thing ever. Seeing the piston go up and down when you're moving your car across the floor. It was honestly, it was mind-blowing awesome when they added Technic in 1977. It was mind-blowing to a 10-year-old who kind of liked gearing and figuring things out and motors and stuff like that. I have no idea about the stats. I literally have no idea about the stats, but I can almost guarantee that some people my age got into auto mechanics because of these Lego sets. And also because they were probably interested anyway. A lot of my friends loved auto shop. I didn't mind auto shop. I like drafting and wood shop better. And machine shop, I was thinking about becoming a machinist. But then the computer showed up and that was that for me. I took machine shop all the way through high school. I took drafting all the way through high school. I took auto shop in grade 9 and 10, and then I lost interest. It wasn't for me. I also think at the time in the 80s, shall we say, I was geeky, like I still am. And I don't think there was anybody that was ridiculing it or picking on me, but the people who were in auto shop were auto shop type people who, I'm not saying I didn't appreciate them or I did appreciate them, but it's just not my clique, as they used to say. And I was not uncomfortable around them, but I just wasn't interested. So I took grade 9 and 10 because you had to, because you had the when I was in high school, there was 2 classes in grade 9 and 10. One was called WED, W-E-D. The other one was called SAM. WED is woodworking, electrical, and drafting, and SAM was sheet metal, automotive, and machine shop. And so that was grade 9 and 10. So one semester you got 1/3 in wood shop, 1/3 in electrical, and 1/3 in drafting, and then 1/3 in sheet metal and automotive and machine shop. And then after grade 10, each one of those had a full semester by itself. So when I got to grade 11, I took drafting 100%. And because I love drafting, I'm going to say I really love drafting. And I think it's more the teacher than anything else. Mr. Shanks, one of the nicest teachers I ever had, again, blessed. Just a very decent guy. And I could have been an architect or a draftsman. I was kind of angling in that direction too. So drafting grade 11 and 12. Got really good marks in it. I took woodshop right to grade 12 because you can only do grade 12. Brad Elliott, just salt of the earth guy, break your hand if you shook his hand. It's like, right. So I love woodshop, and I have my own woodshop, and not just because of him, because when I grew up, helping uncles and dads build houses and stuff. So I took woodshop to grade 12, and I took machine shop to grade 12. And again, mostly because of the teacher, Mr. Pangborn, really nice guy. Always knew this chop. Always had these stories to make you scared of the machines. And my entire high school career in high school, the vertical mill was dead. Those parts were ordered and fixed, so we didn't have the vertical mill working the entire time I was in high school in machine shop class. So I never got to use the vertical mill, which is fine. We had the horizontal mill and everything else, the metal lathes and whatever else. We did all our projects without the vertical mill. But machine shop, like automotive, grade 9 and 10, that's it. Sheet metal, I wanted to take all the way through high school, but I couldn't fit it in. Mr. Jackson, really decent guy. Just Action Jackson, we used to call him. sheet metal guy, really decent guy. And I remember running into him a few times after high school, and he was still a really, really great guy to talk. Hey, Dave, and a really good guy to talk to, just like Brad Elliott. Just again, Mr. Shanks passed away when I was at high school, which is kind of sad. I lost my drafting teacher, but I had finished drafting all the class. No, actually, sorry, my grade 12 class, because that's when he passed away. We had, I want to say, electrical teacher substitute for the last half of the year, but that was a sad day. Losing that, like losing a teacher is like losing like a role model, especially when that was that good. But anyway, I loved all that stuff. I love mechanics. I love how things work. I loved, and it did start not necessarily with this one, because of course I didn't have this one when I was a kid. But I'm tinkering with stuff. My dad always like encouraged me to tinker with stuff. And I will say, when I was very young, I used to take radios and electronics apart and never get them back together properly. But you learn, and all of a sudden, solid state, you start figuring out what resistors are and capacitors are, and ordering the right ones, and fixing things that are busted. And I do all my own electrical in the house now. And that's part of high school, taking electrical class all the way through. Actually, I did not take electrical class all the way through. I took grade 9 and 10, and I think 11. But I just didn't need to anymore, because they went into house wiring and all that other stuff, and I wasn't remotely interested in that. But because I couldn't fit it in either, because I was taking also the physics and the chemistry and computer science. So I couldn't do it all. So I had to give up something, but I kept drafting and machine shop all the way through, because that was fun. But on this guy, so this is another reason why this is not, for me, as coveted as it might be for other people. I didn't like the fake. I didn't like the fake suspension that they hid back here. I didn't like it. After I built it the first time, like when I saw the pictures, I didn't realize it was fake, although I should have. And then the universal is one solid. It's not even a universal. It's just a 24 to 24 crown gear, right? So, and even the 3-to-1, like, you have to make sure that everything is perfectly in sync for it to even turn, because sometimes it'll just jam up, and all of a sudden you hear the gears clicking, because that's what's going to happen. So obviously it was their first kick at the can. The 8880 and the 8860 and this red one they got down here are better. Of course, they're newer and they have better parts to do it. But and even the fake suspension on the front, I forget what they're called. The caps for the shocks. I used to know auto shop. But anyway, I just found it a little too fake, and so but for their first kick at the can, I can't complain. But again, my reason why I made this 23-minute video is to say that, see, that's my problem with this thing. The gear box is low and high speed, because that's what you see in this thing. If you motorize it, you might notice it going forward and reverse. But for just seeing it and driving across the desk here, it's low and high. It's not forward and reverse, because you're not noticing it's forward and reverse at all. So I made a whole video just to tell that guy off. Living rent free in my head. The one set that I keep on meaning to build is the engine, the 8866, maybe, I can't remember, 65. I honestly can't remember. I know I can build it. I know I have the parts to build it. It came out a few years after this, still with the square pistons, but it was just the engine, and it had a distributor cap made of the little black tubes and stuff like that. I've never built it, but I keep on meaning to build it. So I might do that just because I can. I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the year. What I do plan on, because I did the Aquanauts the other month before, and I was just cleaning up and I found them, and so I'm going to start going back in the sets that I thought about I wanted when I was a kid, but I never built when I was a kid. And I know I can build them now because I have the parts and pieces, or just try anyway. Like the Black Sea Barracuda. Like I've always wanted to build that. Like literally always wanted to build that. The second I saw it, I want to see how good the collection is. And Fort Laredo, oh my goodness, Fort Laredo, Lego Ado, Lego. I can't remember what it's called, but the fort I'm gonna try building too. I didn't buy a lot of Cowboys Western sets off the shelf. I bought a few small ones, but the BSB, Fort Laredo, and I do want to, because I've never done it before. I do, and because you see me build the other ones now, because I got videos of me building the other ones. I do want to build the airport monorail shuttle. I've never built it. I know I have the parts, at least most of the parts for it. I know I have the monorail for it, but I've never built the actual airport shuttle. Never have in my life. I don't actually remember. I'm sure I have, but I don't even remember seeing it in real life. I've seen a million videos online about it. I see them still for sale on Marketplace, and they want $1 gazillion. But I've never built it. But I know I have at least the important parts that I remember in the picture. I know I have them here. So I do a plan on, or maybe over the winter months, to build those things, and so some other stuff, and just keep on building stuff like that and doing a review on it and see what happens. But until then, that's 3 videos in a row, same night. I was just cleaning up. And so I'm going to clean up the room because we have company come over tomorrow. And I'm sure I'll make more videos. And again, I said this before, like my life does get busy, and this is my hobby. It's not, there's no Patreons. I am my own Patreon. There's no GoFundMe here. There's no, and I told you guys, this is why I want it this way, because then you're getting me without me trying to cater to get more money. I'm not interested in money. I'm interested in, you, if you want to be here. Again, I'm walking this direction. I am not personally interested in feeling obligated. Oh, you guys are giving money, so I have to give you content all the time. I got busy, and I wasn't thinking about, I have to get home to make a video. I had to be there for my friend's family, and I had to be there for other things going on, and then camping and all this other stuff. So life happens, and I wanted this whole thing, the 5 million videos that I have here on YouTube, to be like my dad's slideshow when I was a kid. Basically, if you want to watch it, here it is. If you don't want to watch it, have a nice life. I have no animosity towards anybody, except for the guy who told me that this is high and low, because it's not. Anyway, that's it. That's all. 28 minutes. I'm trying to keep these things under half an hour now. So I will talk to you. I honestly hope everybody out there is doing well. I didn't say that in my last videos. I hope everybody out there is doing well. I missed this. I did miss this. I was always ruminating about it, but life gets in the way sometimes. So I will talk to everybody. Expect to see me when you see me. Talk to you soon.